Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Tea with Force. Today, I'm drinking an Earl Grey. I've never had Earl Grey tea before. When I smelled the tea bag, it was kind of peppery. I'm gonna try this. Okay, this is my first time trying Earl Grey tea. I guess it's all right. I don't know. Maybe it's acquired. It's not bad. I'll keep drinking it. Don't worry. Welcome back to Sunday Tea. We'll be answering some questions that you guys have for me here today. As always, I am fashionably late. I just need to rename this show to like Tea Time with Force because I'm not reliable enough to get it out every Sunday. Let's answer some of your questions. Luis Braga says, what recommendations can you give for a new gaming channel? Just do what you like. Be yourself. I think that's probably the best recommendation anyone could give about YouTube. It's also good to try to have an angle. You know, do something that maybe not everyone else is doing. Are you planning on just doing Let's Plays? If so, do you think your personality is something that people can connect to? Because if so, that's a big part of it. Or are you going to try like a different thing? Are you just going to do Let's Plays of a certain series? Or are you going to do reviews? Well, there's a lot of reviews out there. So how are you going to style your reviews? Are you going to try something sort of unique, like what Angry Joe does, like 30, 40, 50-minute long reviews with a whole bunch of different skits and stuff? Part of the reason why he's so successful at that is because not a lot of people do something like that, and he does it fairly well. So yeah, I get that. That's what I would consider. Make sure you're doing something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, and try to have an angle. I love how I give this advice, but what's my angle? I don't do anything special. I'm not special. My mother lied to me. Alan Diamond asks, favorite alcoholic beverage? Hashtag Force Tea. I don't really drink very often, but when I drank mixed drinks more than I drink them now, I guess my favorite was the Long Island iced tea, I would say. I also like White Russians because it's the dude's drink. And I like Di Serono on the rocks. I would say those are my three. Long Island iced tea, White Russians, and Di Serono on the rocks. Those are the beverages that I enjoy. Thomas Irvin says, how do you make sure that you're keeping good posture when playing games on PC? I don't. I've got really probably bad posture. In fact, look how I'm sitting right now. This is not a good look. You got to go, see, look at that. Pull back your shoulders, have a straight back. That's better. But normally I'm like, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You don't want to say, I don't have good posture when I say what I say. To answer your question, Thomas, I don't, but I should. You're right. Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder. Ooh, getting personal with this one. Erica asks, how did you meet the missus? Well, this was actually back when I was a server bartender. We met at my restaurant, as a matter of fact, and I was waiting on her, and I said, well, hello, miss. I find you very attractive. Would you like to have a conversation? And we had a conversation, and it just kind of went from there. That's not really how I greeted her, but you get the picture. Yeah, we met while I was working, interestingly enough, and the rest is history. 6 years of which, has it been 6 years? It's like 5 or 6 years, something like that. Josh Morrison asks, what game are you most looking forward to playing this year and why? I'm just looking for something that sort of breaks off from all the stuff that we're so used to. So I guess No Man's Sky is something that I am really looking forward to. Yeah, I really sort of expect that to be predominantly just like an exploration game where you're flying from procedurally generated world to world and, you know, star cluster and whatnot. But I don't know. Besides that, I mean, yes, I'm looking forward to like The Witcher 3 and I'm looking forward to checking out what The Division is, but really there's not too much at the moment that I'm super excited about this year. So I'm hoping that we get those announcements for holiday season releases sometime within the next few months, you know, probably at the next couple of big conventions that take place. We'll start to get a better idea of what we can expect this upcoming fall. I don't know. Those three, those would be my top three. Melt asks, are you okay with being so secluded from all other gaming people within YouTube and or specific gaming community? Well, especially where I live, that is certainly the case. Like if you are a YouTuber out in California, there's a lot of other people who do your sort of thing that live around you. But up here, I'm in New England. It's been snowing for like 4 weeks straight. We've got like seriously 4 feet of snow on the ground. It's kind of absurd. But yeah, my location definitely secludes me, but just in general, this sort of job is very reclusive. Like you're in your house on your computer for a majority of the time that you're doing stuff. So yeah, I don't see a lot of other people who do what I do. And yeah, it gets a little lonely. Sure does. But that's why, you try to connect with other people who do what you do through collabs or just even having conversations with them. I'm in regular talks on a daily basis with other YouTubers, just kind of shooting the shit, talking about things going on in the industry with our respective networks, stuff like that. So I do keep in touch with people, which is nice. But yeah, I'm not around other people on a day-to-day basis, except for my cats. Ivan Carpen says, why are you not playing with the squadron? They want you. He's talking about the TGN squadron for Heroes of the Storm. Look, I appreciate all the invites. I am just a very unreliable person. I don't like committing to any sort of a schedule because I have a hard time keeping my own schedule, he says on the Monday episode of Sunday Tea. I'll play with them if we're on and playing at the same time, but committing to like a weekly thing, I just don't think I can do it. Do they really want me on their team? I mean, come on, I'm all right, I guess, but yeah, it's, I greatly appreciate it. And I talk to Pally Time every now and again, but I can't commit to a gaming team. Kidding me? It's not going to work. It's not going to work out. I can't even commit to my own schedule, so God forbid. Blorboy asks, would you ever A, branch out into other subjects, e.g. bartending, or B, work with on another channel like Geek and Sundry? So 2 things I definitely consider on a regular basis. Number 1 is doing other content that I'm interested in here on YouTube. Educational stuff I actually really like. Like I've considered doing some sort of a channel that just dives into things like Earth and science and stuff like that. Just things I enjoy learning about and thusly talking about. And then collaborations, absolutely. Even though I just talked about how I can't commit to something like a regular gaming squad like TGN Squadron or whatever, doing like one-off collabs every now and then. That is definitely something I'm interested in, and I search out every now and then. It's just scheduling is a really hard thing, not even just for me, but for other YouTubers as well. Trying to find the time in our daily schedules to do things with other people. It can be a bit of a hassle, or maybe just no one likes me, and that's why I don't get any collabs. That's entirely possible. Will Jackson says, if you had the opportunity or desire to go back to school, what would you study? I would study mathematics and or biology, but I would probably primarily study math. As weird as that's going to sound, I like numbers. I like the structure. I like the certainty of it. Like you've got an equation, there is an answer, and there's a process to getting that answer. I enjoy that process, and I enjoy learning math. That's probably easily my favorite subject in school. In fact, when I initially went to university as a business major, it doesn't get any more generic than that. My favorite area of study within business was accounting. Unsurprisingly, because it's numbers and math related. So yeah, mathematics is probably, if I go back to school at any point for any further education that's sort of like certified beyond, my own education. I teach myself things all the time thanks to the beauty of the internet. But if I were to look to get like certified education again, it would probably be in some area of math in one capacity or another. Diggs asks, if you could have any exotic animal/creature as a pet, what would it be? You are an evil man, Diggs. Leave the animals in nature, please. We don't need crocodiles or panthers or lions or toucan Sam in our house. Keep them outside. Keep them outside. Yes, I'm a tree-hugging hippie, but they belong. That's where they are. That's where they belong. I know I have cats, but they're domesticated. It's not the same, is it? Am I a hypocrite? I'm probably a hypocrite. Tyler Reed says, who is the best basketball player from Heroes of the Storm lineup? My vote is on Asmodon. He free throws like a champ. That's absolutely correct. Asmodon dunks for days and is easily the best basketball player. Now, if I had to pick a second sports player, I would probably say Diablo would be a good football player. I'm talking about American football because he does a lot of just ramming into people with a forceful speed and then throwing them over his shoulder. That's a football thing, right? Blake asks, why am I so damn tired all the time? Blake, I can't answer that question for you. I would say there's a couple of things you should look at. Number 1, are you resting enough? Are you getting your adequate hours of sleep? Depending on who you are as an individual, that can range anywhere between 5 and 9 or 10. People are different. I know everyone likes to say you need 8 hours, but it's different. People are different. People have different requirements or needs. Myself personally, I think I require anywhere between 7 and 8, a little bit closer to 8, but if I get any more than that, I'm tired. If I get any less than that, I'm tired. And then also, how is your nutrition? Are you eating proper things? It's very interesting to think about this. Your cells replace themselves in some capacity, in the sense that they die off and they are recreated, and the fuel that recreates those cells in your body comes from what you eat. So if you eat nothing but pizza or chicken nuggets all the time, that is literally what is constructing the recreated cells in your body. It's a powerful thing when you think of it that way, and it really makes you take stock in what you eat. You shouldn't be just having nothing but like pixie sticks all day, because then you're like made of pixie sticks essentially. So just, Blake, what are you eating and how are you sleeping? I'm not creepy, don't worry. I'm concerned about you. Dusan Milko asks, do you feel that Darkest Dungeon has replayability, or that the game will fizzle and get boring after a few hours of play? I've put in 45 or so hours since I got early access last week, so it definitely lasts more than a few hours, but, you know, are you going to eventually get tired of a single playthrough save? Yeah, I would say there's a point where I'm at the point in my in one of my saves right now. I'm about 45 or 50 weeks in, talking about game time here, where I'm just plowing through everything. I'm doing that no healer crit build, and I'm just destroying everything. And it's nice to be acquiring upwards of like 300,000 gold, but I've got no use for it right now. Like I've progressed as far as early access allows you to progress at the point. So what I'm keeping it fresh with is trying new saves and trying different builds to try to spice things up a little bit. But you know, like anything, it's gonna get boring after a while. Like nothing lasts forever. There's always people who tell me if you don't play one game for so many months or so many years, then it's a bad game. So unless you're still playing Super Mario from when you were a child, then you think all the games that you've played are bad as well, because eventually everyone moves on. Let's just be realistic. But yeah, do I think Darkest Dungeon is good? Was it worth my $20 investment? Yeah, for 45 hours, and I'll probably still be sinking in more. I'd say it was worth it. It's a good title. Check it out. Louis Rasmussen says, loved your Diablo/ESO podcast. Do you ever imagine yourself making more podcasts? I love podcasting. I just love talking into the microphone, but more so having conversations into the microphone. You know, when I do game videos, it isn't quite the same sort of experience that you get from sort of forming a dialogue and conversing with other people on topics that you enjoy. I really enjoy podcasting, and there have been several times where I've considered creating, but the general gaming podcasting, there's already so many of those. So, you know, I do certainly consider it, like many other things that I consider that I'd like to do with my free time or lack thereof. Will it happen? I don't know, man. I kind of want it to, though. I think that'll be the last question for today. I kind of want it to. It's fun. Just the whole process from start to finish. Podcasting is something that I really enjoy, and they seem to do fairly well as well. I know a lot of the success of my prior podcast, of Diablocast as well as the ESO podcast, a lot of that came from hype leading up to the launches of games, but I still think in general that people do enjoy consuming that type of content. I know I myself personally do. I, on a regular basis, listen to Giant Bombcast. If you're into gaming and you don't, you should. They're sort of a big part of the inspiration for me to get involved in sort of the gaming ecosphere or whatever. Like they were a huge inspiration for me. All of those guys, love them to death and love that show. And I also on a regular basis listen to Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson. That is another thing. It's a subject that I enjoy, and it's nice to listen to people talk about that. So that is the sort of content that I would certainly like to investigate producing more of in the future. It's just a matter of logistics, I guess. What's the show? What's it about? Who's on it? You know what I mean? That I don't know. Stay tuned. Maybe something will happen, but you know, take it with a grain of salt, because my promises aren't very good. Look at my posture right now. What am I doing? We just talked about this like a couple of minutes ago. I got to figure this out. Aren't there some things like some straps or something? You can just be like, strap yourself into the chair so you have to have good posture. That's probably a good idea. All right, I'm going to continue to enjoy my Earl Grey tea. You know what? I've had a few sips since the start. It's pretty good. It was just so much different. I'm so used to, I primarily drink green and chai tea, like chai tea lattes, and then just straight up green tea with like a lemon spritz in it, and that's it. So it's probably just more like real tea. I guess so. I don't know. But anyways, thanks for watching Sunday Tea. Hope you enjoyed the experience. I'll see you guys in the future. Tea on. Tea time with Force. People put in a whole bunch of hashtags about Sunday Tea. Hashtag Sunday Tea, hashtag tea. I think Tea Time with Force is a good name. Like if I were to change this from Sunday Tea to Tea Time with Force, I think that'd be a good idea. I also need to practice. I just got tea all over my pants. Why can't I hold this thing without spilling it?